Hello and welcome to another episode of Pony 411. This is episode 315 for the month of November 2021. I am Alca7raz, and joining as usual is Nemesis.
Yo, what's up?
It's been a somewhat interesting month. Some things have happened, but not a huge amount of stuff. I've just been dealing with car stuff. Yeah, car's getting old and things are falling apart. But I still want to keep it around, darn it. I love that car. Facebook died. That was a thing for a bit. How about you? Anything happen on your end?
I got 4K TV and it's pretty great.
Finally getting into the 4K.
Yeah. Finally, I was like, you know what? I got two consoles at 4K. I got a bunch of Blu-ray movies that are 4K. Probably go ahead and I also have the money to do it, so let's just get it done.
Just get it done so you can take advantage of the capabilities that you've had.
Yep. Also, Metroid Dread came out, so yeah, that's one thing.
Dread.
The 4K TV and Metroid Dread arrived on the same day, so it's like, of course, I get the 4K TV, and then one of the first things I do is I play a game that can't do 4K.
Yep.
Metroid Dread is great, though. I finished it. It's amazing. Fantastic game, honestly.
Yeah, I've never really been into the Metroids because I've never really been into Nintendo stuff. Never really been exposed to the Nintendo side of things, so I've never really had a chance to get into Dread or Metroid. So no Dread for me. I don't have a Switch.
Sounds like a you problem.
Yes, it is a me problem. I didn't say it was anything else. But yes, I guess we're not here to talk about Metroid. That would be a rather interesting podcast, but no. We are here to talk about ponies. So, yeah, we have an alright amount of news. It's not super huge. We got a couple comics to talk about. We're going to do another character analysis kind of thing. We're going to talk about a specific character. We'll get to that later. And we have a wee little bit of fan content at the end. So, let's jump into the news as we normally do. If you would like to follow along with the news, then I suggest that you do. You can find our show notes at pony411.libsyn.com/show notes. So go there, click the link for this episode, and let's get into this. BabsCon has announced a bunch of guests, because yes, BabsCon is coming. They did the Babs Bomb, what they called it. So yes, they announced a whole bunch, including Nicole Oliver, Andy Price, Peter New, Vincent Tong, and Daniel Ingram. And yes, that's all the real convention news for now. I believe Cider Fest is happening as of recording, so they are currently going on. It'll be done by the time you hear this.
Kevin.
Yes. Kevin. Kevin is there. So, jumping out of convention news into fandom news, the next A State of Sugar album, Eclair, is out, or it will be by the time you hear this. And I'll be having a release party about the time we end recording, or the day after, tomorrow, I think. But yes, by the time you hear this, it will be out, so check them out. In sad news, Hasbro CEO, I guess former CEO now, Brian Goldner has passed away.
Yep. Paul, it was cancer. Yeah, it was a cancer.
Yep. Screw cancer.
Yep.
He lost his battle with cancer, and he'd been fighting it since 2014. And to merchandise news, some G5 keychain things were spotted at New York Comic Con. So some more upcoming merch that will be appearing soon.
Bigger, very interesting looking art design there.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a very, very interesting art design, at least on the packaging. So yeah, they're going to be in blind bag format too.
Good luck getting your favorite.
Yep.
Sorry if you get the cop.
And the Kotobukiya Hatsune Miku My Little Pony crossover figure, the final art has been shown and pre-orders are live. And yes, I already have one pre-ordered.
Yeah, because you just jumped into Vocaloid and you're doomed.
Yeah, I'm doomed. I fell for Vocaloid and I fell into that pit of Vocaloid hell.
The Miku here is like the Celestia and Luna, and that's two separate bases for the pony and the Miku. So I guess there's going to be someone surprised me. There's some people out there who buy it and then chuck the pony part.
No.
Yeah, but anyway, it's $140 ish. In the U.S. retailers, I believe you can get a little cheaper depending on where you go.
Depending. Yeah, so keep an eye out for various places that'll be getting their pre-orders up. In comic news, we have a synopsis for My Little Pony Generations number 4. It is: the original ponies are here. Northstar, Lickety Split, Minty, Rose Dust, Lofty, and more team up with Starlight, Glimmer, Twilight Sparkle, and the rest of the gang to get to the bottom of the strange, havoc-wreaking Smooze. The plan of which is Grackle and Dire is heating up. Can the combined forces of our favorite ponies stop them? We're only getting to the first issue today, so we'll find out.
We shall see how that
We
rolls
shall
out.
see. And in some G5 news, a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff like storyboards and the like for the G5 movie have appeared.
Yeah.
So,
just
a ton. Apparently, Netflix movies aren't
the same.
so stringent about hiding their behind-the-scenes
Yeah,
stuff.
'cause I remember that I saw that a lot of G4 people were complaining that they still can't talk about some of the stuff they worked on.
Yeah, but G5 movie comes out and basically everything is just getting dropped by them. It's like, all right.
Including slightly different ending.
Yep, slightly
One of
different ending and different like scenes that would have been there or whatnot.
Yeah, like apparently Sprout's mom was a little harsher on Sprout.
Yeah, that's like one alternate ending part that I think should have probably been in there is Sprout actually getting reprimanded.
There's tons of it.
Oh yeah, it's just a huge dump of stuff that's been coming out from that. So it's kind of neat to see. I wish we could have got more of that for G4. A listing for a G5 book titled Izzy Comes Home might be a reveal for an episode in the upcoming series. It's one of those beginner reader kind of books, but it talks about being part of the series too, so it may or it may not be one of the upcoming episodes. But we don't know.
Yep.
Kind of speculation there. And the other one is there was a bunch of storyboard stuff supposedly for the upcoming series that got posted by one person, but it appears that they may be fake. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Oopsie doodles. It's a fake.
It's a fake. It wouldn't be the first time that fake stuff has popped up. So, yes, that is the news. Up next, we're going to talk about some of the comics. So, that's you.
Yep. Let's see. So first off, got the final issue of the main line, number 1 or 2 for Friendship is Magic. Yeah, the final issue, season 10, episode 14, written by Jeremy Whitley, art by Andy Price, and colors by Heather Breckel. In which it's the end of the siege of Canterlot by the what do they call them? Knights of Harmony.
Knights of Harmony, yeah.
Yeah, those guys. Who apparently it turns out it starts off with a bit of a story time. We got Quinabula was a paradise, blah, blah, protected, and they spread our thing, and then we got to Equestria. Oh no, it's a land of chaos because of Discord, and they went, and everything, Discord messed things up, caused all the other places to turn against them, and, they just destroyed them, I guess, and because, we got betrayed, and so they're here to just, stop everything, and then Discord, they kind of come up with a whole plan with Discord, and running around, and it seems like they might win, and then things get a little iffy, and then it's just kind of over.
Yep.
It's kind of
Weak.
a weak ending
Yeah.
in many ways. It just kind of, there's a lot here. I mean, the other, all the allies they've made, Ornithia, the Canania, Farsian Shores, Panthera, all that stuff are
all the other elements of Harmony
show
or
up
whatnot that
and
they
help
found
out,
came
and
to-
then that's the guy just kind of gives up, and that's it, and then we don't really see what happens to him, and
But there might be more.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They're trying to
There's
they're
like
trying to leave it open. Let's be real. It's not going to be open. They're going to be popping over to G5 almost certainly.
Yeah.
I'm almost certain once Generations subline is over, we're going to pop over to G5 Comics, and that's that.
Yep, probably.
Which technically is the same continuity, but yeah. It's going to have nothing to do with the G4 ponies.
It would be kind of interesting if they did prequel G5.
Perhaps.
That would be kind of nice to
Explain
see.
what happened?
Yeah.
That's the part of the crux of G5 is finding out what happened.
Yeah, so I don't know how that'll work. It really depends on what the series is.
It's just this ending is just kind of
Yeah, I wasn't enthused.
It's just kind of it doesn't feel like a really like it doesn't. I don't know. It's just kind of another just long disappointment of season 10.
Yeah, it's like I can also like the whole the Knights of Harmony and their whole reason for doing what they're doing.
They might turn on you.
Well, yeah. Well, it's also the way they started.
Yeah.
Like the reason for existing at first was this like patriotism thing.
Yeah.
And it's like
we're not the whim of feelings. Facts don't care about feelings.
yeah, and it kind of feels like it's trying to send a message about the dangers of nationalism, but it kind of falls flat. And a lot of what it feels like it's trying to say certain things and falling flat in its execution of doing so.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of fizzles, really, in my opinion.
Doesn't address what happens to the knights. They're just kind of gone. They're just kind of taken care of somehow. I don't know, defeated, I guess.
And it's just, I don't know.
It's just kind of. I don't know. I just wasn't super into. Honestly, I'm just kind of like, that's the end, I guess.
Yeah, I wasn't. I'm not gonna say it's like. It's definitely not the worst ending of something I've seen.
No, no, it's not. But at the same time, it's like
I've definitely seen better.
Boy, do I wish I didn't. Almost at this point, like I almost just kind of. I wish I didn't actually read season 10. I would have been. I think better off without knowing about season 10 at all.
Well, didn't we say that it was probably best that they didn't try to do a season 10? Yeah, we did.
Way back, we were kind of like very leery about. We were kind of very hesitant about. And turns out we had good reason. It wasn't overall. It just kind of wasn't worth it.
Yeah, I think what they had been doing before they tried to do a season 10 was working. Some of the times it was working better. The shorter, small short side arcs kind of a thing that they were doing, 2 or 3 episodes at a time.
Yeah.
And then instead of trying to do one big overarching season-esque arc, I just think the execution probably could have been a little bit better. And I think they tried to punch a little bit above what the comics were good at, and it kind of showed.
They're trying, and they're trying. Oh, we got a lot more freedom now. And it's like, oh, you didn't do much with it. Nothing really particularly interesting.
I'm curious, like, who is the writer on this one again?
Whitley. Yep.
What other stuff has Whitley done through comics? Like, does
Beyond Pony?
Pony?
I don't know.
Yeah, because like, do the writers have experience writing longer stories? Is my question. I don't know Jeremy Whitley's like history with comics, so I don't know.
He's done some Marvel stuff.
Are they like one shots or long arcs?
Hold on, I'm looking. He created a comic series himself. Yeah, he's been creator and writer of the Marvel's Unstoppable Wasp across 2 runs of 8 and 10 issues.
Oh,
so he's done some long form stuff. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes it's just, I don't know. It feels like he was trying to do a big epic story and just didn't quite make it mesh well with the G4 stuff that was already established. He kind of wanted to do his own thing. He just kind of bulldozed through what was already established to get it done. Yeah. Which sometimes happens in mainline like Marvel and DC. The writer will just bulldoze through because they want to do this. Yep. And then it leads to weird stuff, and then other writers have to deal with the continuity scenario it's caused.
Yeah. Like the whole thing with the one of the big continuity issues with this series, the season 10 deals with, well, continuity issues in the series itself that we didn't like, dealing with elements of harmony. We get this, they find these batches of elements of harmony.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of them basically the same.
The series, the show told us that the pillars created the elements of harmony.
Yeah. And they tried. So it looks like, I remember that in this comic, they try to kind of make those mesh, but not do a very good job.
Didn't really mesh. I mean, it kind of singled the equestrian harmony elements out different than the rest, but not really, because they expected them to be there. So, like,
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I think there was just issues with continuity between the two, and it's like half of it is rolling over
And again,
the existing, and half of it is just reusing it in weird ways.
Yeah, and again, a large chunk of it is also the same story over and over again.
Yeah, that's what, like, reusing the same story. It's like, we're going to take this one piece that we already did in the show, we're going to change it up again and repeat it 5 times or so.
Yeah, and then we kind of got a bit of a
It fizzles.
Yeah, it just fizzles out, and it doesn't feel like a particularly good way to end it.
Yeah, it just kind of fizzles, and then okay, it's done.
Yeah, it's just disappointing.
Yeah,
and honestly, like we said at the beginning, season 10 really wasn't worth it in the end.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It's just kind of meh through the entire thing. Some points here and there, like you get funny faces and funny little sections that are great, but overall, that's what I say about season 10. Could have been better.
Yeah,
could have been better, but I think they shouldn't have tried. They should have tried to just don't be a whole season, and I think they would have done better with that.
Pretty much. So anyway, that's the end of the comic series, except now there's also Generations, which is it's a whole separate thing. And Generations number 1 is it's the crossover between G1 and G4 ponies, although at this point none of the G1 ponies have appeared yet, but whatever. This one written by Casey Gilly, art by Michaela Casatori, and colors by Heather Beckel.
Hey.
And letters by Neil Uitake. But anyway, it opens up with, let's see, a volcano thing from G1, actually. It's two girls, what are their names? Grackle and... what was the other name? I can't remember now.
Wasn't it? Or
what? I don't remember her name.
Dyer?
Grackle and Dyer. Yeah, Grackle and Dyer, they're kind of stuck in a volcano because of a curse put on their family by the G1 ponies. They're kind of stuck in this volcano, and they're trying to get out, and they're going to get revenge on the ponies, and somehow because of, I guess, when they looked for the closest ones, they wound up, the closest ones interdimensionally are the G4 ponies who are at the school, and they're being overwhelmed because the students
popular.
the number of students keeps going up, and they still have the same number of teachers, and it's just they're burning out, and
so like American public schools.
Yeah. And so they're desperate to get more teachers, and this is their way in. Grekel and Dyer are find out about this, and thanks to their rat trench, and they create ponies to go in and I guess wreak havoc, and that's where we leave off. Is
they've shown up.
They've shown up, and there you go.
Edge.
Yep, a bit of edge.
They're so cool.
It's kind of an interesting way to do two things, because it's actually kind of weird how they actually, in a way, almost require you to be familiar with the Smooth story from G1.
Yep.
Because they don't fully explain a lot. They kind of touch on it a little bit, but they don't really get into the specifics. But I remember I watched I think that was the movie. Yeah, that was the G1 movie, and I watched that. I don't think you did.
I don't think I did.
Yeah, you weren't there on the podcast yet, but I watched it, so I'm at least familiar with the story of it. So I'm like, okay, there was the whole Smooth thing. That was the thing. It's like they see it as it was just a harmless prank, but they're like the granddaughters of the woman who did that.
Yep.
So there's apparently the whole family, not just her, no, the whole family is like, So this is one of those like, this is how I can see we're gonna get redemption here, because it's like, well, they didn't really do anything bad. They just kind of stuck.
Yep.
So that's gonna be a thing. And also, it's interesting, they have kind of EQG colorings.
And style, yeah.
Which is interesting in of itself. So it's like,
Interesting.
Kind of makes you wonder.
Is EQG in the G1s?
I mean, Megan did briefly appear in Equestria Girls as a Easter egg, but obviously if this was, their grandma is the one who got all messed up and stuff by that stuff, it's,
Then what happened to the G1 ponies in the Equestria Girls world?
No, I mean, what I'm saying as well, that means it can't be the same Megan.
Yeah.
That was just an Easter egg, but yeah. It's interesting how I'm interested.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's a decent start. I do like it.
I can kind of see some of the plot threads kind of forming already, but yeah, it's I'm
trying to think how many different multimedia things have had an episode or something called Generations, and how did they turn out? It is very common, and the ones that are popping up are like, there was the one Sonic game that that was actually pretty good.
Sonic Generations, yes.
That was pretty good. Star Trek Generations is actually pretty good.
Yep.
Even if, it was Shatner.
Yeah. Bridge on the Captain.
Yep. We finally got a movie where Picard and Kirk interact.
For like 2 minutes.
And then one dies.
Oh, again.
Well, technically, he didn't die the first time. He was pulled into the Nexus. So he wasn't dead.
Yeah, well, the one thing I'll say is, that unicorns are, the OCs they put in are a little, obvious.
Which is funny because they're supposed to make him not.
I mean, the purple one is, well, actually not too bad, all things considered. But the other two is like, yeah, that's just these malicious grins. That's one good way to introduce yourself. Just look all malicious about everything.
Yep.
Make it clear you're up to no good. Starting trouble in the neighborhood. Yeah.
Just got Bel-aired.
Yep. So, yeah, it's interesting. I want to see how they, bring the G1 characters in and all goes. But yeah, it's okay. Yeah, they're actually playing,
it could definitely
building off G1 stuff, which if you guys aren't familiar, you kind of need to familiar yourself. But they'll probably
give you
give some more of an explanation. But yeah, it's just if you already know, you know.
Yeah. It also with the whole generations thing, I think it's somewhat aimed to people who already at least have an idea of G1.
No, I suspect a lot of the bronies are not going to be like, I don't even know anything about G1.
Yeah, especially
why is it not catering to me?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's interesting. Start to a 5-issue series, so we'll see how that goes down.
We shall. So I guess that's the comic, and I guess we can move on to our main topic.
Yep.
Something we've been kind of, in some ways, avoiding.
Yeah, you have
for a while, and not because it's bad, but it's because I've always been afraid I'm not going to be able to do it justice. Like I said, we're going to talk about a character, like we've done character analysis on a bunch of the different main characters before.
We got 4 of the main 6.
Yeah, well, there's only 2 left. I wonder which ones those are. So I am going to attempt to talk about my favorite character, Rainbow Dash. Ronbo Dash. Yes. Where to begin?
Rainbow Dash. Well, we should just begin with who she is.
Yes. So Rainbow Dash.
She's a pony.
She is a Pegasus.
A pony.
A Pegasus pony. So Rainbow Dash is an interesting. Rainbow Dash is one of the characters that was brought in and given the name Rainbow Dash because Lauren was told to.
Yep.
Rainbow Dash was originally going to be introduced as Firefly, which is a remake of a G1.
Yes.
Which Firefly was actually Lauren's favorite, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So the sort of the go-getter, the tomboyish, the just goes for it, kind of character. But Hasbro
really
said
Firefly in G1, but her version of Firefly.
Yep, her version of Firefly. Because remember, Lauren made all of these characters based off of the stories that she would make with the toys as kids.
Fair enough. That's a good way to do it.
It works. It works. So, but then Hasbro went, we need you. You have to have a Pinkie Pie and a Rainbow Dash.
Yep. Because
those were the 2 most popular G3 characters.
Mm-hmm.
So Lauren
they don't have the rights to the name Firefly for trademark reasons. They don't want to deal with that brouhaha.
Yeah, they don't have that one. But the other ones, you have to have a Rainbow Dash. You have to have a Pinkie Pie. So Lauren revamped her surprise Pegasus into Pinkie and went, Firefly, you're now Rainbow Dash, and just redid the design a bit.
You're the new Rainbow Dash.
You're the new Rainbow Dash. And then that one kind of came up with Spike later on. So yeah, like I mentioned, the Firefly was going to be kind of the tomboyish, the brash one, the I guess go-getter. I need a better word for that. No holds barred, doesn't just jumps into it without thinking, just goes for it. Kind of athletic. And that's who Rainbow Dash is. There wasn't a really characterization change between Firefly and Rainbow Dash, just a colorization and a name change. So yeah, brash up front, no filter, just does.
And says.
It does and does. Yeah, it just goes for it, usually without pre-thinking about things beforehand. And also very, very confident. Just goes for it. Apparently, there was also supposed to be somewhat of an irresponsible streak.
And she kind of had one.
Yeah, and that's what it did poke through, but they did back off on a lot of that.
Or just...
It was supposed to be a lot more prominent originally, and they decided against it. I'm happy that they did. So, yeah, that's who she is as a character. She's the tomboy, basically.
Yep.
The athletic, just goes in for the punches.
Yep.
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 Yep, and usually needs to be held back by the rest of the group.
Often Applejack.
Often Applejack, because Applejack is the strong, level-headed one that goes,
hold your horses there.
And it's the only one that... Applejack and Twilight later on, once Twilight gains her, again, more of her confidence in friends, Applejack's usually the only one that could...
grab that tail, bring her down to earth.
Yep, Pinky probably could, but Pinky is Pinky, and we don't question. Yeah, so Applejack is usually the one to stop her because she's the only one that really can. Which is why people ship those two, because those two are constantly a thing. But it's interesting. She started, like I said, the whole brash and irresponsibility thing.
Mm-hmm.
I that did poke through, and I think it was a bit more in the beginning of the series. But it's also interesting how she changed a bit, how her characterization grew.
9 seasons, better be some change. It's 9 seasons, better be some change.
Yeah, 9 seasons, and yeah. Although it is interesting when I was looking through the episodes on which episodes she was prominent in, or not just that she was prominent, but she had a prominent character changing moment or character developing moment, I would say, where we see more about her or she learned something or something like that. It was actually pretty quick that we started to see a second side of her, because she always comes across as this just tough, kind of brash, and that's a lot of times self-centered.
Yeah,
she comes across as that, but we quickly see that that's not always. No. The first big episode that we see her really gain some development in, I think, would be Fall Weather Friends, with her and Applejack.
Yeah,
is the first one we see that, where she's gotta win kind of thing, and she learns a little bit there and kind of brings that back. But right after the next big one was Sonic Rainboom, when we learn that she has those kind of she gets terrified about that. That was a thing. And then we learned about another side of her in Cutie Mark Chronicles when they do the flashback with her and Fluttershy, where she's brash and kind of self-centered and kind of, it can be a bit stuck up at times, but she will defend her friends like that. She will stand up for them. We see that otherwise in some other ones, but I think Cutie Mark Chronicles kind of really points that out in her story.
Yeah.
So I think rather quickly we start to see that she does have that better side to her. And season 2, immediately we start seeing more and more soft sides to her. May the best pet win kind of shows up, and we see her looking for a pet, although that's a bit interesting. She learns to have a soft side there with Tank.
Yeah.
But again, we see that kind of self-centeredness at first, but then it kind of comes back. And there's the whole Mare-do-Well incident. We talked to ends about that one. That one was a negative. Like, what the heck happened here? And I think that was one of the things that really bugged me about it, is that it didn't fit with what we were seeing in some of the other episodes. It took her high negatives and forgot some of the other ones. And that, I don't like that episode. But then it was followed up by Read It and Weep came later that season.
Yeah.
Where there's a huge character development there when she learns all about that. Oh yeah, I didn't even put this one in here, but one amongst there was the Hurricane Fluttershy with her and Fluttershy again.
Yeah.
That one was, I know you didn't really care for that one because it's Fluttershy and it wasn't that great, but I think for Rainbow Dash, that was a pretty defining moment where she was able to screw the record.
Yeah.
This is for you, and giving up the praise from Spitfire. That was a huge moment for her. It was very small, but it was pretty big. And then Sleepless in Ponyville, sort of kind of a moment of softness, and then Wonderbolts Academy. One thing I noticed, she starts off super brash, but it starts to tone down, and she starts to get softer throughout there. But after about season 4, her character development kind of wanes. Like, that's one thing I was looking at. That's one thing I noticed, that about halfway through, around after season 4, we only get maybe 1 or 2 episodes through the entire season where she has a large moment, a character defining moment, instead of like 3 episodes in the season, which is about standard for all the characters. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I guess they decided to focus on other characters.
Yep. Because that's about like, and then we get like, oh yeah, and there was like I couldn't recall any big ones in season 8 at all.
Well, season 8 is season 8.
Season 8 is season 8. we did get a few big ones. Parental guidance was a huge one.
Right.
So that's basically how she's formed and grew through there. I don't know if there's any other points you want to point out.
I don't know if you didn't mention Griffin the Brush Off at all.
I forgot about that one. Griffin the Well, that's because that was the Griffin the Brush Off.
Yeah, but it still has a big deal for Dash.
It was a big one because she
had
learned about
kind
her
of
friend.
a crappy friend, and she was willing to sever the friendship when she realized how bad her friend was treating her other friends.
Yep, and that was a point, because I think it was the same point that was kind of brought up in some other ones where she can be self-centered, but when push comes to shove, I think that's one of the biggest things about her. Yeah, she can be kind of rude. She can be a bit self-centered, a bit selfish, a bit. I won't use a term for her. I was right there on the tip of my tongue, and it just left. Narcissistic.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say that she's narcissistic, but I will say she's egotistical. Yeah. They're very, very close, but there are some critical differences between them. She's not tricksy. She's not. She doesn't manipulate others into getting her more attention, kind of a thing. She's kind of that's one of the things. She's just egotistical, and yes, she is. She's egotistical, but when push comes to shove, she'll be there for you. She's there for her friends.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, she's loyal. She's reliable.
Oh.
And yeah, she's one of my favorite characters. I like the character, the archetype. A lot of people don't.
Hi.
A lot of people really don't. She's one of the more polarizing characters. A lot of people really, really don't like her. Unfortunately, though, a lot of people give her flack that I don't think is deserved. I can understand when people don't like the character type, and yeah, she does have her flaws. Everyone doesn't, but hers are a bit louder because she's just a louder character. But I think one of my biggest frustrations with some of the people, with some of the fandom's negative views on her, is the constant, she's stupid. She's an idiot. Sometimes she doesn't think things through, but there are specific episodes that prove that no, she's not stupid. Daring don't.
Yeah.
All right. The entire thing where she turns into a little fangirl and just nerds the heck out whenever Daring Do is brought up. She has got a brain. She can think if she wants to. Testing 1 2 3 showed, I think one of the things is her brain works differently, and I think that may be a thing. And she actually brings it up. I'm not smart like you. I can't learn these things. And it's like, no. And figures out, no, you just learn them different.
Yeah.
And I think that may be something that is kind of this is delving into headcanon. That may be, and I see it in real life, someone doesn't quite learn or click with the methods they're being taught, or like stuff like that. You get some people, oh, I'm not good at this subject, and it's like, that's probably because you had crappy teachers too. But they think they kind of internalize that. They had because they don't think the way the area, the environment wants them to think. They think that they can't, and they internalize that. I think that may have been something that you could explain with Dash as well. She is smart, but because her brain works a little bit differently, she learns differently. She didn't learn something, so she just thought that that's just not her area. But we see with Daring Do, she totally can. Amongst other things, that she has the capabilities, just she's got to find her way of doing it, and it's something that she's interested in. So she's not stupid, and it really bugs me when people just almost Flanderize her as that. Oh, she's just the stupid one. And it's so frustrating. Oh, yeah, and bring up headcanons. I did actually have one headcanon of her that did get broken by parental guidance.
Yeah.
But it was brought up in some other... It's like I saw it. It was how her confidence.
Right.
For a while, I had sort of the headcanon that a lot of her confidence was a front.
Right.
That she was doing that as a compensation measure. And there were some points that would show towards that. Especially, with Sonic Rainboom. Where she's left to just quivering in fear, basically, because she didn't think she could do it.
Mm.
And a bunch of stuff like that. But that was kind of thrown out the window with parental guidance.
No, she got plenty of confidence.
She's got plenty, and it's not a front. So, yeah, there were headcanons of mine that kind of got tossed. Which happens. That's just kind of what happens. Oh, another one about she's not stupid. It was a Trivial Pursuit.
Oh, yeah.
That whole thing. And that was actually the last one I have listed in here as a main point. But yeah, that kind of reinforced. She's literally doing trivia. So you get her, find one of her interests, and yeah, she's not stupid.
Actually, the thing about Sonic Rainbow, you're talking about the whole thing of her sheer confidence, the whole front thing. For me, I always interpret that as her confidence is actually being shaken for real for the first. Really, she's having a hard time dealing with the fact that she actually might not be able to do it. So for her, it's a kind of a new thing in a degree for her, and that was my interpretation was this idea that I actually might not be able to do it is kind of, and particularly in something that she's supposed to be good at. And for her, that's what was so scary for her, is this idea of like, oh wait, maybe I can't.
Right, and I
so
totally
for her,
can see
that's why
that.
it was so terrifying.
Right, I can see where that comes from. I was interpreting it differently because the whole she hasn't done it since.
Yeah, she did.
And even Fluttershy was saying like she needs help. Oh, and Rarity. Fluttershy and Rarity were both like, yeah, no, she needs help. She needs people to encourage her, even though she wasn't showing it. So both of them were able to see that there was stuff going on. And I think, and then when she gets her and deals with the bullies and whatnot, and I think I can't remember if it was a fandom thing or if it was mentioned in the show itself. I think they mentioned that she couldn't do it again, hadn't done it since.
Yeah, there was mentioned she had done it once, but no one believed her because
and then she couldn't do it again.
Yeah, she had never done it
so,
since then.
And that was one of the critical points, was it may be one of those small things that's been slowly eating at her for years that she's been just kind of shoving away and compensating for. So not this is the first time I can't do it. No, this is one of those things that's been gnawing at the back of her head since she was a filly that she's been hiding, is the way I interpreted it. So again, she's overcompensating for this lingering doubt and trying to compensate for
the way they
it. And that's what I was, again, it was thrown out in parental guidance where like, oh no, she was always confident. And I kind of felt weird about that episode on that one because it kind of countered with my headcanon, but I mean, my headcanon is second to primary canon.
No, but no, it has to be primary though. Your headcanon should overrule canon.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. And then you go on Twitter and argue with the people who wrote it.
Exactly, right?
We're going
to go on Twitter and argue with the writer. God.
So we wrote Sunset as bi. What? No, she's not.
So literally yeah.
You argue with the person who wrote it.
Right, but now when you can get to the arguments of death of the author. Counter death of the author with word of God.
Yeah.
On those arguments, and it's like things are not as simple. But yeah, that was always my interpretation of Rainbow Dash, is that a lot of her confidence, while she had some of it, she has the skills to back it up, that a lot of it was compensation for a lingering doubt that she's been struggling with.
Right.
And that would poke through. And I liked that headcanon, and it's one of those character flaws that can really draw you into a character if you can connect with it.
Here lies Alcatraz's headcanon.
Yeah.
Utterly destroyed.
It wasn't utterly destroyed because it was only one piece of Dash. The rest of it's still great. But otherwise, I'm actually kind of happy that Hasbro told Lauren that it had to change and they had to have a Rainbow Dash and that she came up with a new design, because I do actually like Rainbow's current design than over Firefly. Not that Firefly was a bad design, the pink and blue. I really like what she did with the rainbows and colors, and I think it really, really, really works.
Yeah.
I really like Rainbow Dash's design. It's one of those, it's bright and colorful in your face, and I think it really fits the characterization, but it's also not obnoxiously in your face.
Yeah.
I think I may have said this when I first started on this podcast when I was talking about why I like Dash. Her mane is all the colors of the rainbow, bright and colorful and in your face, but the blue coat kind of tames it and keeps it in check, so it's not overwhelming. But there's enough, like the same colors on the cutie mark and the eye color, the magenta eye color ties back into it, so it gets a nice complete picture. It's just a really good design in my opinion. I really, really like it.
Right.
So you take the character type that I like, the tomboyish character type, I really like those, with a great design, and we ended up with like a character that was perfect for me.
This character was made for me.
Yeah.
For me, it's always been, and yes, I am one of those people who do not like Dash.
Yes, as
I'm
you have
not
made
a
clear
huge
a few
fan.
times.
And it's always been just of everything, even with all the positive stuff, it's always been kind of the arrogance and obnoxiousness kind of always has just rubbed me the wrong way. And it's just, sometimes, yeah, she's funny. It's deployed really well in a way that's really funny. Like the bit with like, she's not a crazy cat lady. She kind of is. Shh.
Yeah, those are great.
But it's just other times it's just like, I'm just like, oh my God, get over yourself. You're not that, do you really buy into your own hype that much? You know, she's like, yes, she is the hype.
She is the hype. That's one, I want to say that started to get toned down a bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
In the later seasons.
Mostly because towards the end she wasn't as prominent. If anything, that's all I would say. That would be the primary reason is her prominence was somewhat reduced towards later seasons because they started shifting a little more. Actually, weirdly enough, towards Applejack and Rarity, a lot and Pinky, annoyingly.
Well, Applejack deserved it to get more focus.
Needed a lot. Applejack needed it a lot because she really
the background pony.
We have always joked it's a background pony, and she finally got a lot more focus in later seasons that really fleshed out her character beyond just the farm pony tells the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So Dash, and that was a weird thing. That was the thing about Applejack. Applejack's always had the confidence and without the arrogance.
Yep.
And I found that a lot more endearing in general versus just Dash. Just like, I just want to say, just shut up, please, just shut up. Stop talking about yourself. And that was always my thing, was just, on top of that, somewhat dismissive of a lot of things. That, you know, the way she was very dismissive about things she wasn't into personally was sometimes a little the way she was. And that's the fact that that's not for me. It's more along the lines of, you know, she was like, no one, you know, particularly on stuff like initially the book thing, you know, that's for nerds. Shut up. And everything says, yeah, so that's all. That's just kind of rubbed me the wrong way in general. That was a lot of it.
Yeah. If it's not one of her interests.
Also, and if I recall, there was some of it, was just, I kind of felt the whole, she's the reason why they're all friends in the first place thing. Or
it may have been a bit little much. That was a little.
That was like for me. That was
yeah, but that's not Dash's fault.
I know, but still, they wrote it that way.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with Dash's characterization.
Dash is the reason we're all friends now.
Yeah, it also doesn't help that the second time that they reinforced that, because the first one was they said that in Cutie Mark Chronicles was basically the establishment, but then the second time they brought that up was not a great episode for you either, because it was Starlight. So that probably didn't help.
It can't get any worse. Oh, it got worse. It got far, far worse. Because that's one thing I'll say. At least she's not Starlight.
There's one thing like you talked about her. Hype and self-hype kind of a thing. Yeah. One, and how you didn't like how it was characterized. One thing I think they started a couple times but I wish they would have done more, is move that how that works, where she does kind of talk herself up, but she also knows what she's doing and does it with like a half sarcasm.
Yeah.
I think they've done it a couple times. Like, I think there was like one time we just talked about someone bragging and like, don't brag, that's my job.
Yeah.
where she knows that she's kind of full of herself and she kind of plays with that idea. I love that when there's a sort of a sarcastic arrogance. I wish that would have happened more, where she develops her arrogance and egotism into a sort of a sarcasm, where she still has that confidence and makes those comments, but she does it with that twinge of sarcasm where you know that she knows what she's doing there.
Yeah,
that's great. I love that.
Which is, you bring that up because it's funny. This is a whole different thing, but like the Hololive, the fairly new character in EN, Crony. She's narcissistic to heck, but she makes it work because, well, sometimes she's taken down like 10 pegs.
Well, yeah, there's that.
And that's how, but
Crony's also Gatmoey.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Just in general, she kind of pulls it off in Picard because you kind of feel like there is a bit of an act to it, but also just, I don't know. Just she's.
Oh man,
part of it's just because she's not loud about it. She's very calm in her.
Yeah. Crony's more of that.
It works for me better, is because at least it feels like there's more of an act. And again, it sometimes blows up in her face in a way that I don't think that was the other thing. Was sometimes I felt like with Dash it never not quite backfired as much as it should have.
The one time it really, I guess, there was two times they really did Dash's arrogance backfired. I really didn't like because they did not do it well. It was Ne'er-do-well and 28 Pranks Later. I think they just did not do that well because it also involved like throwing a whole bunch of stuff out the window too, especially like 28 Pranks Later, and like, we're just going to do horrible pranks against Fluttershy, the one that, why the heck would Dash do that? That's the character that Dash knows the best, and we've already been over this before. That doesn't...
Simple. I think my thing was Fluttershy can take it now.
Except that was never brought up.
No, but that would be the thought process. Inference. Fluttershy can take it now, right?
Yeah.
Because Fluttershy has gotten stronger, and Fluttershy even talks in this whole thing.
If they would have brought it up and done it, it would have been great, but they didn't, so it still sucks. Yeah, and the whole Ne'er-do-well is just... yeah, I mean, it would have been fine to take her down a peg there, because at that point, yeah, she was still kind of she could still be kind of a jerk at times. But the way they did it just did not work well, in my opinion. But there's also, like you say, the getting taken down a peg. When it comes to arrogance, I'm not super huge fan of that all the time. It can be useful, but I'm also not super into Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
So for me personally, seeing that isn't something that I want to see all the time. Sometimes someone really just deserves it, but Schadenfreude isn't a big attractor for me on stuff. But you talk about Crony makes me think how much what Rainbow would have done if they would have written Rainbow more as a Gatmoey.
Oh no.
There was some kind of points here, but not enough to really call it Gatmoey. Like, she does have a slight softer side, but she didn't start developing that until a little later. But now I'm just thinking of what Rainbow would have been as Gatmoey. Probably would have been fine. But yeah, I would have loved to see more of her arrogance maturing, and she did definitely mature throughout the whole series.
Yeah.
But I would have loved to see her arrogance mature into more of the sarcastic arrogance. But alas, I still like what I got. Still my favorite character. She was my favorite character from day one.
Yeah. Actually, you kind of brought up stuff about the fandom stuff regarding
stuff, yeah,
interpretations and whatnot about her. The thing is, it's interesting how the fandom, because for a while I remember that she became the Brony mascot.
Yeah,
she was she was the favorite character of the capital B Bronies.
Yep, to sometimes not great ways. In multiple different directions, not great. We won't talk about the jar. Actually, we might bring up one little point about that one, because you mentioned that she became like the mascot.
Yep.
The whole jar thing started based off of the other joke with the acronym. Thing is that they had that for every single character.
Yeah.
But only one of them stuck.
Yeah. Because she's...
So, that's why they pointed to her being mascot.
This is clearly not universal. I'm going to get into a little bit of this, but it's clearly not universal regarding Rainbow Dash fans, but a lot of them, particularly the Fairweather friends, the fans, the ones who were there only for like a couple seasons and ran off to the next big thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them attach themselves to Dash because, in a way, I feel she's the least threatening in the sense to their masculinity, for the show. Because despite the rainbow thing, which oh no, gay, but the thing was she's the tomboy, and a lot of nerds in particular have idea of how tomboys are, and she kind of that's the whole thing is basically she's a girl, she's just one of the guys, except she maybe something will happen, that sort of thing. And that's kind of what it is. It's like so because of that, a lot of them got attached to her solely because, and I think that's why she was all over all the brony merchandise for a long time, is because they latched onto her because she's not threatening to my masculinity, because I'm already tipping my toe into something that's already kind of scary, but this softens the blow a bit.
Because yes, this is a girly thing, but this is the boyish one, right?
Yeah, so
it's not as it's more masculine. It's not super And
it was weird thing was like I remember during that time period in particular, Rarity was very unpopular because she was incredibly effeminate.
Oh God!
So
I'm just
liking girls is gay, essentially.
I don't know. You're mentioning
we're getting into the topic of toxic masculinity, which is just one big bundle of cognitive dissonance.
Yes, but it's funny. Looking back on what's happened with the fandom. And fans, the people in the fandom, and how a lot of them have turned out.
Yeah,
it's like I wonder if a lot of this fear of femininity was kind of a defensive mechanism for something that they've been struggling about.
I don't want to think about that part of my brain.
And then they did and found out new discoveries about themselves.
Sense. Oh, now that all makes sense. I'm very well acquainted with this part.
Also, your mention of Rarity just reminded me of the one post our friend made in Discord about that one post they found.
Right.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
We won't talk about that, but it was someone with a real hot take.
Yeah. But it's so that was the thing with it back then, was a large chunk of the fan base of Dash specifically, just because I think a lot of it was she's the safe one, so I'll just latch onto her regardless of how I actually feel one way or the other.
Yep. Like, you like ponies? Oh, but but she's really masculine and
she's
boyish.
Sporty
she's
and
cool
stuff.
And not girly, so it's fine, right? Yeah. Which that whole thing was fine for me, because that means a whole bunch of Rainbow Dash merchandise was made.
You just go to a Hot Topic and like most of the shelf was catering to you.
Yes, I bought quite a few Dash things at Hot Topic.
It's just funny because like who's the main character? Twilight. Who gets the most merchandise? Rainbow Dash. What?
Yep.
So for a long time it was difficult to find Twilight stuff.
Yeah, it isn't so much anymore.
And nowadays
it's kind of all balanced out at a low point, balanced out, but
you don't really get much of anything anymore.
Yeah, balanced out at a low point. Yeah, it was great. A lot of Dash merchandise, and yes, I did go to Hot Topic a few times.
Oh, look, more new Dash stuff. Oh, look, another new Dash thing.
Ooh,
another one.
Yeah, they had the necklaces and
wallets and belts and T-shirts and mugs and.
I don't know if I bought any Rainbow Dash T-shirts from Hot Topic. I bought a Wonderbolts zip-up hoodie. I bought necklaces. I bought slippers.
Yeah, so it was just because of that. A lot of the bronies were like, "It's Dash." I was like, "Okay." All the merchandise was catering towards them.
Yep.
And then, oh hey, this stopped selling.
Yep. And then it kind of died off. Rainbow Dash. That's interesting. One of the most popular G3 characters became one of the most popular G4 characters. Although, comparing G3 Dash to G4 Dash, they are not the same character in the slightest. G3 Rainbow Dash is effectively G4 Rarity. Hence the whole darling and whatnot. Always dresses in style.
Rainbow Dash always dresses in style.
Yep. That was G3 Dash.
Rainbow Dash always dresses in style. I just remember some people getting genuinely angry about that one.
Yeah.
She's not like that. Shut up.
There's one face, a super angry Rainbow Dash meme face, was from like a short comic about literally that.
I just remember the video, it's just Rainbow Dash, and then Dash is looking back, and then just keeps repeating the line over again while Dash is quivering. No.
Yep.
Yes.
Also, it's hilarious that what happened is that Rarity tended to use Rainbow Dash all the time as a mannequin. Ponikin, I guess.
Sometimes.
So Rainbow did get dressed up all the time by
I don't think it was that
Rarity.
frequent. It happened, yes, but I don't think it was that frequent.
I think it happened a lot more at the beginning and less later on. But yeah, it seemed odd.
I think it's just there's an inherent funniness of the one who's the least girly being forced to be girly.
Yep. What do they call that tomboy taming?
Oh.
But she's not always girl. She is. Let me try that sentence again. She's not always anti-girly, I guess. She'll still get gussied up, but it's usually to some slightly different extent, like her gala outfits or whatnot.
Rainbow Dash won't look like a tank.
And then she got a pet named Tank.
But she doesn't look like him.
Yep. So yeah, it was one of those. She's tomboyish, but she'll still dress up sometimes too.
Although she kind of sometimes has to be strong armed into it, but hey,
sometimes, but not all the time.
Needs to be about 20% cooler.
20% cooler. Yes. Rainbow Dash, favorite character. I'm starting to ramble.
A little bit.
246, great. Oh, what was that one? That was another character growth. That was her figuring out that it's okay to be a cheerleader coach.
Yeah.
That was an interesting episode.
Yep. I remember a lot of people weren't thrilled with it.
Yeah. Oh, Newbie Dash. That was another one. But she's trying to be different character. Another one of those weird confidence ones. I think that one started to reinforce my she's overcompensating because it was before parental guidance. But yeah. So yeah, I guess that's that. Wanting to move on
A little bit, yeah.
So yeah, that's about all I got to say about Rainbow Dash.
Actually, you could say a lot more. I know you can.
Oh, probably, but
because we haven't talked about Equestria Girls Rainbow Dash.
Equestria Girls Rainbow Dash.
It's basically Dash, but less mature.
Exactly, that's what I've always said.
Because it's always been. They're teenagers.
It's a teenage, more immature Rainbow Dash. Hasn't seen all the maturity.
Also,
and such
really
like
loves soccer.
Well, yeah, she's athletic. She's super athletic.
Soccer specifically.
A lot of running. Yeah. That's about actually all I can really say about Equestria Girls Rainbow Dash. Is that pretty much sums up her entirely? Is Pony Dash younger and less mature?
I know. I'm just remembering something I saw in a fanfic. It's like, or it wasn't a fanfic. It was an Aragon comic.
Oh, those are great.
They have to deal with Pinky. They have to deal with Pinky, but she's a bundle of teenage hormones. Oh God, I'm so sorry.
Oh God, I'm so sorry. Aragon comics are amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
They're great.
Aragon's stories are also amazing.
Yep.
Anyway.
So yeah, I guess time to move on. We do have some fan content, so I'll hold on to the microphone, figuratively speaking, and start off with some music. I do have one song, and it is L Train coming back out of the woodworks with a G5 song, Unicorn Strut. Electro swing with a kind of a funky bass groove. It's a lot of fun. It's great. It's Izzy. It's pulled out of G5 stuff. It's not a remix. It is original. But yeah, it's a weird one. It's sort of original, taking pieces, kind of a remix, kind of a weird combo. Yeah, but it's fun. It's hard to describe, but it's fun. It's great. I love it.
Yeah. He does use significant pieces of that one song.
Yeah.
That Izzy was singing. Yeah. It's electro swing. So it's, swing daddy-o.
Yep.
Heavier, but of course with heavier bass, because that's electro swing essentially.
Yep.
Just crank up the bass, and there you go. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty neat. Kind of short-ish, but then again, because based on the material, I don't think it should have been longer, which is good.
Yep.
If it was longer, I think it would have been good. I got to actually wore on me. Because, there's a lot of reuse of the same bit of the song.
Yep, and it would get kind of grating if you push it too far.
Yeah.
But I think we did it really good.
Yeah, it's really good. Otherwise, yeah, it's just kind of a... What is this?
It's not a Gonna Be My Day remix, of which there are a bunch out. And there's some good ones. I almost featured one, but it doesn't have a download yet.
Oh.
Yeah, I need to put a download for it.
Right.
But yes, so that's what I've got this month for music. So fanfics.
Yeah. First off, Clear Skies did get a new chapter a very, very long time ago at this point. Pretty much a month ago.
Yep.
Because the point, I'm like trying to remember what the heck happened.
They took the treasure back to the ship.
Took the treasure back and just talked some more, and so we're gonna do some more treasure hunting, and yeah.
Yep.
And it's the end of
They're
Act
short
1.
up. They're short.
Yeah, it's the end of Act 1, so you got that.
Yep.
But yeah, the feature, I got to fic the feature for you guys. It's The Haunting of Carousel Boutique by Mushroompone. This is a very different kind of thing. It's got the horror tag, but it's also got the romance tag, and it's a very different take on the kind of on this sort of thing. Because let's be real, a lot of romance is kind of a present thing in horror, although usually in a lot of horror movies it's kind of an excuse for either for the protagonist to have a reason to go, to make the stupid decision and not just run away. Or B, because they want to have the girl in as little clothing as possible, and they need an excuse.
Right.
So, but yeah, here it's actually kind of a weird thing, because basically what's happening is Rarity just kind of just stays in her boutique. Applejack realizes and kind of goes, I should check on her. And she does so, and things get weird.
Yep.
Essentially from that. It's very interesting. I don't want to say too much, because I don't want to give anything too much away, but it's it does a lot of little tricks, like kind of sometimes breaks the rules of writing.
It does.
To kind of amp up the discomfort.
Yep, and tension, and discomfort is a good way of saying it.
And it's very interesting because a lot of what you see, it is actually kind of unsettling for the most part. So yeah, I would say on horror, it's a little on the milder side.
It's not like graphic horror.
Yeah, but it's a little more. But it does have a bit of a sense of unease and tenseness throughout the whole thing, for most of the whole thing. So yeah, you got that whole thing going on, and it actually builds up what's going on between Applejack and Rarity a little bit as well. So there's that whole thing.
Yep. There's a humorous way of describing it, but it gives things away, so I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I guess that's your fanfic.
Mm-hmm. That's really good to check out. It's about 33,000 words.
Yep.
That's 6 chapters and an epilogue.
Yeah, and it is really good. I do want to say that. I did definitely enjoy it. Go ahead and check that out. So yeah, that's the end of the fanfics. That's the end of fan content. That's the end of this episode. I hope you liked it. If you did, you can find all of our episodes, patches, past, future, present at 2411.libsyn.com. Remember that's spelled LIBSYN. And go there and find all of our episodes and links to all the other places you can find our episodes, including places like Deezer and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts and Stitcher and YouTube, which is youtube.com/2411. You can also find us on Ponyville, I guess, live, if that site... I don't know, is that site still, like,
apparently last
alive?
time I broke it, like, I was just refreshing and worked again fine. I don't know.
Yeah, Ponyville Live is, like, on life support, so if it's working, we're sometimes there. If it's not working, then I guess it's not. Either way, we also air on Ponyville FM every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, so tune in then.
Yeah, Ponyville Live's just giving me an error again.
Yeah, like I said, it's on life support, so you can probably just ignore it.
Yeah.
If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can email us. We are pony411podcast@gmail.com, so send us comments, criticisms, suggestions, whatnot. Send it our way. We'll take a look. No promises, though.
Nope.
We are also on Facebook, facebook.com/pony411. So go like us there. We'll post updates when they happen. And we are also on Twitter @pony411. Go follow us, tweet us, say hi, see nonsense. That's what Twitter's good for, is just nonsense and dumpster fires.
Never be Twitter's main character.
I'm Pony411. Yes. So you can also find us on our personal Twitter accounts. I am at Alca7raz with a 7 instead of T and underscore at the end, and she is at Nemesis Prime 1. Go follow us there. I haven't tweeted much of anything. You just tweet robots.
Yeah, I can't remember if I tweeted anything recently. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Last
More
month.
reviews. More reviews. Picture of stuff I got. I mean to tweet more stuff, but yeah. Yep.
It's Twitter. Go follow us. Don't be surprised if you don't see much. At least for me. I don't tweet much. Anyway, that's the end of this episode. I hope you like what you heard. And I hope you tune in next month, at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do another discussion of something.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Something I've been saving up for a while.
And we'll see how that one goes then. So until then, remember, please pony responsibly. See ya.
Bye.